Hello everybody, welcome to All Sports Weekly episode 20. I am Trevor and with me this week I have Richard. G'day mate, how are you?
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to see you mate.
Off the bench.
This is a great time to get you in particular on today.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. Rub it in.
No mate, there'll be none of that.
Okay.
Everybody, we're on YouTube as you know. If you are watching the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications, all that stuff. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud, download the SoundCloud app and you can get us there. We're on Twitter at All Sports Weekly and you can message me allsportsweekly@outlook.com. Okay mate, what have you been watching this week?
Well,
I have a feeling, I know...
You know the answer to that, Trev,
I have a feeling, yeah.
We'll discuss that later on, hey?
Righto.
Don't make me bring it up twice.
You're not going to go there? Alright, so you did watch a bit of NRL,
I
sure?
did. I watched the Origin and I managed to catch most of the second game last night.
Okay.
Looking in between, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the Origin. I actually watched the replay, which was weird because I was working.
Mm-hmm.
I'd managed to hide from the score, which was hard to do, but I did it.
Yeah.
So I watched the Foxtel broadcast. So we lost the game, but at least I avoided listening to Phil Gould. So I take it as it wasn't all bad.
A win-win situation.
It wasn't all bad.
At what stage did you fast forward to the end?
60 minutes
Oh,
to the 80th minute.
Yeah.
That was when the fast forward button came
given
out.
up.
And I went to bed with a migraine.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Queenslanders, I think. I will say though, escaping Phil Gould and Joey Johns was good, but the Braithen Astor commentary was pretty partisan. I know, I get it, you know, but
yeah.
you are being paid to be a journalist of sorts.
Yeah, it's been one of my bugbears over the years with a lot of ex-players who are journalists in the game and commentating, especially when they refer to their old team as we.
Yep.
I think that's very poor form.
No one does it better than Sterler, I reckon. If you're looking for a guy who's obviously got a passion for a certain club but remains impartial throughout a long period of time, Peter Sterling is the blueprint.
The blueprint? I'd say Mick Ennis is pretty good at it.
Yeah, that's a good... But he had 7 clubs, so that helps.
That's true.
Okay. All right, so let's quickly get to the NRL and let's start with that state of origin. Townsville, you know, we got this second home game out of the blue, very partisan crowd. We've rocked up there. The scene was set for one of Queensland's great nights, and then the game happened. 50-6.
50-6.
I'm getting these memes at 5:10 in the morning in Queensland is now 50-6.
Yeah.
Hey, I think you sent me one, didn't you?
No. I thought I'd save it.
Okay. So tell me, you watched the game.
I watched the game.
General thoughts.
General thoughts on the game was in today's game what is required was the standout team won, hands down.
Sure did.
It's a bit of, I'll talk about my elephant in the room. Okay. My elephant in the room of the NRL in general is that we've created what we saw in that Origin game. For years and years the NRL were incompetent in being able to control the wrestle and the deliberate cheating of standing offside. So what they did to me was get rid of a lot of the core fabrics of the game. Yep. They took away a lot of the attacking kicks. They took away a lot of... When was the last time we saw a bomb go up in the in goal and everyone got to the edge of their feet to see players come up to take it? They've taken away game management from smart players in able to wrestle momentum down or give their team a break when needed. And we created this 6 again rule, which to me
obsessed with the speed,
is obsessed with the speed, and it took away. We've essentially given it to, as I refer to it, a peanut in the middle with a whistle, who blows it on the run, and there's no analysis or accountability on why that was done. And
so you're not enjoying the style of rugby league in general.
Afraid rugby, to me, we're taking away this and creating this one size fits all player. So we're taking away different sorts of teams, like grinding teams, bigger bodied teams, game management teams, to create sort of basically 17 centres running around the field. And I think you look at the NRL each week, the scores, we continually get 3 or 4 games of 40 points, 50-point floggings.
Well, last night, just on a side note, Manly 50, Cowboys 18.
Exactly. And it's almost like...
And it's also because they're scared to hit them hard, aren't they? They're scared to get suspended.
So I miss the contest between ruck and ball.
Yeah.
We don't need to go back to the slow wrestle, but I miss the contest where we're now, and we've created this almost like a touch football type of scenario. And we saw on Wednesday night, first set of 6, 4 outside backs took the first hit up. The 5th tackle of the match was taken up by the lock in Isaiah Yao. When was the last time you saw a football game where 4 centres did the first 4 hit-ups of a football match?
I can't recall, yeah.
So my fear is that, and I'm sitting there watching it thinking, so Josh Papali'i, who was missing, is arguably the best prop in the game. He walks back into that side in game 2 if he's available. And I'm thinking, he would be shown, there's no place for him in today's game.
Is he too big?
He's too big to me. He would get shown up more than what Queensland had.
And New South Wales had several players out of position, and it didn't seem to matter, did it?
No.
So that sort of reinforces your point a little bit.
Yeah. That's what I feel about the NRL.
Because it had Jake Trbojevic as prop, it had Latrell Mitchell in the centres. I know he was a centre. You had Trbojevic in the centres. I think I'm forgetting a couple, but they did move players around.
Yeah.
The idea just being pick the best 17 players
it's
or
almost
13
the
players.
fastest players for today's game, which is how you do it. It's today's game, but I worry about how we're taking away all different types of players and we're creating a one size fits all.
With the crackdown, we are risking these higher scored games. I don't want to watch a sport where every week is 60 to 50.
Yeah.
Bring back the 16-10 game,
Yeah.
But if you can't hit, if the players are hesitant, aren't they, to put a big shot on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So have to intimidate with your defence is becoming harder.
Well, that's it. There's no if you're off your game a little bit and you're one of the top sides, you're still running away with the ball game in today's age. So you could argue it's about the teams that aren't so well evolving, coming up with this sort of play to get with the times, and such as with Queensland, they need they need an influx of speed in the outside backs.
That's a good point.
To be able to compete.
And I think Ponga we miss, although I'm not the biggest Ponga fan, we missed him, and then because that puts Val Holmes on the wing, and that's that speed that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Val Holmes looked like a deer in the headlights at Origin level in fullback.
Yeah.
He did, and he wasn't the only one. I've got to give it to the Blues though. Their defence was pretty good early in the match. Queensland were looking dangerous, but they just couldn't score. I'm not sure if we can blame Queensland conceding 50 points on the refereeing style. I'd like to.
No, I don't. I thought Jared Sutton was very did not play a part in the game at all. It was just that constant speed of the game, which as a spectacle, don't get me wrong, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic to watch the game of football. I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah,
I'm a Blues supporter too, but I could just see, to me, that single prototype, fast, fit player, and it took away. If Queensland had have had their best forward pack on the park, would they have been able to grind out and somehow brought the score back to a reasonable level?
Well, so on that, Queensland are playing a bit of a different style, at least they did the other night. It was put down to Paul Green, so Queensland were throwing the ball a lot more and playing a lot more football, quote unquote, whereas under previous regimes, they grinded out, won the battle in the forwards, traditional Origin.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's Paul Green's ethos or whether he's perceived something like what you're saying, where he's like, that's not going to work anymore. But I tell you what, I've never really had an opinion on Paul Green, yeah or nay, but geez, he's a sour-looking puss. And at the end of the day, that's a record lot.
Yes.
Can Queensland come back to Suncorp and do something about it? Because that's a big loss.
I would say, I'd say no, based purely on the fact I think if New South Wales have the same team with the way that the game is at the moment, I think they will. I don't think Queensland can go with them.
Queensland play a lot better at Suncorp.
They do,
and they'll play better than that.
Oh, they will. They should get Ponga back. They should get Papali'i back. Christian Welsh, who went off for a HIA, and more importantly, I think Munster and Harry Grant aren't going to come off having played injury for a few weeks. And there was talk all through the media about the Queensland preparation, and there was some hints on Paul Green and his coaching style, which I find surprising. But considering, he played at Origin, so he should know what Origin is.
He should.
But
the Queensland Pride, you can't lose a game like that. The heads went down.
But they will do better for fitness, yeah.
Yeah. I heard through the grapevine, Cam Smith in commentary through Channel 9 was just beside himself. Just the fact that the way that they sort of rolled over. Excuse me. But game 2, Queensland obviously I think will improve, but
absolutely,
when you get beat by that much, you've got to.
I seriously think there'll be another washout.
Okay. I think it'll be a
lot.
I'm
a very pessimistic mood today.
Are you? Really? Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So, just quickly, Manly 50, Cowboys 18, one of those games, a cricket score. And then the Sharks have beaten the Penrith. And obviously Penrith, Ivan Cleary made the decision to rest his Origin players. Yeah. I think that's a smart move.
I do too.
But in the short term, we've got games like this. So Sharks go out to 18-0. Panthers come back to 18-0. And an absolute mongrel field goal from Sean Johnson. Did you see that?
Yes, yeah. I saw
that. What a
that.
mongrel kick.
I think I didn't see the first game, but of course when Tommy Turbo pulls out and all of a sudden everybody starts getting a bit frantic on whether or not you should tick the Cowboys all of a sudden. But
you were one of them, yeah.
I didn't change, but
Cowboys got out to an early
class
lead.
Wins. I do question, I said this at the start of the year to you, I think, whether Tomalolo, how happy is he and how happy is he going to be for a long time at the Cowboys? He played 22 minutes and went off with, I think at the time it was 12-0. I didn't watch it, I'm just going off from what I heard on the radio. And then he was brought back on after 30-odd points were scored.
You might be onto something there. I mean, I understand what Peyton's trying to do, but you've got to keep him happy.
Yep, to me, he's the best forward in the game.
Yep.
He's at his best in the second half too.
Yep.
But he's also, the other players thrive on what he does. They play off the back of him too.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, just quickly before we wrap up the NRL, I've got a couple of things. Now, I've been told last week in particular, I'm obsessed with the Raiders and I need to let it go. So I take that on board. However, you're here. Now, for you, those who don't know, Richard
it's a setup. It's a
stitch up. It's an ambush.
That's it.
You're a die-hard Raiders supporter.
Imagine if Queensland won. Oh, God.
You probably wouldn't show up. But you're a big Raiders fan. You've got the Broncos tonight.
Oh.
Now, I've done some maths. You've got to win 9 out of 12 just to make the 8, maybe even 10 out of 12. You have to win this game. How nervous are you?
I'm not nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll win tonight.
Yep.
Based purely on the fact I think that we'll have too much first half points for them and they won't be able to run us down in the second half. The heads will go down in the Broncos.
And just to comment on the Raiders more broadly.
Restart the half an hour, mate.
I'll give you 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yep.
I'll keep it simple. Mm-hmm. Accountability starts at the top. The Queanbeyan Leagues Club don't take the NRL licence seriously. Poker machines are their priority.
Sounds like Parramatta.
Then it goes down to a myth of a coach who's yesterday's hero, and there's no filters all down to the playing group when there's no accountability in the organisation and want to evolve, then this is what we end up getting.
This season all over?
Season's all over. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if we win another game.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but I think we'll win tonight.
If you don't win tonight, there'll be a few people with the pitchforks coming for you, mate. I think a few of them will be watching this.
Just thank you that the Bulldogs are in the competition.
Now, look, we've got the comment of the week here. It's come from Simon. Now, just backtracking, he sent me this one last Sunday when the Eels were playing the Knights. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this. Simon said 2 things from that game. Cartwright is the buy of the year. Now, he's on 130 grand, which is league minimum.
Okay, rightio.
Cartwright's the buy of the year, and Adam O'Brien as the Newcastle coach is a fraud. Thoughts on that comment? There's big raps on Adam O'Brien prior to...
Okay, first port of call. What was the first point price? Cartwright.
Is Cartwright worth his 130k?
He is. He's definitely playing worth more than 130k.
Yeah.
Parramatta got he's very much in the same style as Sean Lane on the bench. And he's pretty, I'd say you're getting much more bang for buck out of Cartwright than he is for Sean Lane.
Well, just on the side, the Titans had him on about 800 grand, So bad was his form.
Yeah.
That, I mean, 130 is what he's now worth. On a side note, his very controversial Instagram anti-vaxxer missus has left him. Seems like living on the Gold Coast for 800 grand was a bit more appealing than living in Parramatta for 130 grand. It seems. The captain didn't go down with the ship on that, on that train. That's his personal business, but worth mentioning. I think he's, easily led, I think. But anyway, worth 130 grand. Now, just give me the Adam O'Brien, because Newcastle, where are they and what's happening there, mate?
I think... Adam O'Brien's like, he's one of these coaches that we always say they come from under Bellamy or they come from under Robinson, and I think a lot of people just expect success with coaches because of that.
There's something rotten in Newcastle, I reckon.
Well, I think his biggest problem is he doesn't have leadership within the playing group. So the leaders there...
Pearce's off-season was a predicate.
We all know Mitchell Pearce's history with leadership. There's been rumblings about, the better player like Ponga and Clemmer who get on the nose and go do their own thing. And then the one player that was brought to the club for that leadership in Frizzell, he's a very quiet man. He does his talking on the field.
Yeah.
So I think
not a sort of hands-on leader.
He needs to get a couple of tough old guy. A perfect player for him would be to try to recruit Finucane from the Storm.
Yeah.
Someone like that who's going to, hold some accountability to the younger group and show them what it's like. So he needs some core leadership, and then I think we can get a better understanding of whether or not he can actually coach. They did make the finals last year, and they've still got a chance this year. So.
Yeah, they are. You asked that question about Tamalolo. How happy is he?
Yep.
I have that question about Ponga.
Yeah,
But
good point.
Watch this space.
Now
Now we're going to move on to tennis.
Raiders need a fullback.
There you go. The French Open, mate. There's some massive games overnight.
Yep.
The king of clay has fallen.
My boyfriend.
Your man crush.
My man crush has gone.
Now, look, just for viewers, I predicted last week that this might be the year, and I said Novak might be the guy to do it. I had a chat with you off camera. You were saying Tsitsipas was you perceived to be the big threat. To your credit, Tsitsipas is in the final, but to my credit,
Novak won.
Now, for those who didn't see the game, it just happened this morning. It just finished about an hour ago as the time of filming. Nadal's come out and won the first set 6-3 and just blitzed him, and it was for a minute there you're thinking, oh dear. Novak then basically took him apart. Won the next 3 sets. The third set tiebreaker was the key. By the fourth set, Nadal was up 2-love and then just sort of physically fell away. And Novak looked like he could have played another 3 hours. Father Time has come for us. So thoughts on that? And this is no player has dominated a single Grand Slam ever like Nadal at the French. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Did you see enough today to say it's the end of an era, or is it, hey, see you next year, let's go?
I wouldn't say it's the end of an era. You're right in, I wouldn't write him off at all. Before the tournament, as I said, I tipped, I thought the form guide and everything, I tipped Tsitsipas to win.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Novak would beat Rafa today. He's 34. He has, he's had injuries in the past. We all know that. He takes a hard toll on his body.
And he physically just looks older now.
And that was the first time, I think, whether or not he had an injury or not, I don't think so. But that was the first time I think we've ever seen Nadal hit the wall physically.
Didn't you tell me, All Sports Weekly, that Nadal doesn't play with injury?
To me, Nadal, I told you on the first one.
Episode 7, I believe.
Episode 7. He concentrates, he provides himself and does everything he possibly can to get ready for the French.
Yeah.
So historically speaking, he will pull out of Grand Slam matches.
For the French.
Of everything leading into the French to be at his peak.
So if he was ever going to play a bit underdone, it would be the French.
It would be the French.
Fair enough too, when you've won it 13 times.
Saying that, he did pull out, the year that Djokovic won it, he did pull out that year.
Okay.
Injured. He didn't play a third round or fourth round. I can't remember, but he didn't turn up for the match so he must have really been.
I mean,
look, I think it was a wrist injury. Yeah.
Djokovic's won a lot of tournaments. He's won a lot of Grand
He was
Slams, a
gone
lot
in
of
the
money.
first set.
I
Yeah.
think internally, though, he'll hold this win this morning as one of his absolute jewel in the crown.
Well, absolutely. I think when you talk about, the GOAT debate will never be, it's always going to be personal opinion for a long time.
Plus, wait till they've
the
retired
one-
as well.
the
because
one-
we'll
the
see,
one- Well, that's it.
how many more wins have they got in them? But
The one thing Rafa had always in the argument to me with Federer was that Rafa beat Federer at
Wimbledon. He did.
At his
In a
peak,
final.
At his peak.
In a final.
It was 09, I think. Federer at his peak. In a final, Rafa beat him.
He did.
And yet, Novak got Rafa at the French a few years ago when he was coming back from over a year out, I think it was, and Federer had never beaten him on clay. So I think this really ranks up there.
The significance,
in the significance of the argument. Yeah.
And Tsitsipas has come through to the final in a very big 5-set match against Zverev. Went down 6-3 in the fifth. And the first Greek to ever make a Grand Slam final. But I'll tell you what, I rate Tsitsipas on clay, but oh my God, Djokovic has got this one, hasn't he?
I think, I tipped Tsitsipas has got, he won Monte Carlo, he won another one last week, I think it was Lyon. He's beaten Roger in the Grand Slam. He come back from 2 sets to love against Nadal and beat him in the Oz. I think the pressure is off Novak because he's won the French. If Novak does win this...
But this is a Grand Slam final.
I know.
Yeah.
I like Tsitsipas. But if Djokovic wins this, he becomes the only male outside of Laver to win all Grand Slams twice.
More than once, yeah.
So that's going to hurt me more than anything because for about the last 10 years, I've ridden every Australian Open for Rafa.
Yeah.
And through injuries, just being beaten on the buzzer, and I'd hate to see Novak come up from under him because I knew Roger wasn't going to win another French.
Novak in Australia is like Rafa in France. It's getting that way. Yeah, the women's final, typical women's draw, it's just thrown up upsets. We've had players pulling out. We've had all sorts of stuff. Now we've got Barbara, how am I saying it? Krejcikova. Let's go with that.
Yep.
So she's come through unseeded, Czech player, 25-year-old female, has only ever won one career tournament. Her best ever Grand Slam performance is the 4th round. She has gone through in a French Open of upsets for women. And she'll play Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, who's 29, been around for a while. She's the 31st seed, so she's not a big hitter.
It's a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
I think about 10 years ago she might have got to about number 6 and then sort of fell off.
Right.
Just had one of those career years.
You're right about the journey. 29-year-old, has never made it past the Grand Slam quarter-final. Heads up, so she's 29. Her first Grand Slam was the Australian Open in 2007.
Yeah.
Holy dooly. She's only 29. Right? 14 years ago. That shows you she's one of those tennis kids, one of those proteges that's come through and probably hasn't ever been there. She's playing in the
looking
Grand
at
Slam
the 25, I'm thinking she's 11.
No. So she's been playing since she was, a middle-aged teenager. Harder to pick than a broken nose, but you'd probably have to say Pavlyuchenkova is probably going to have the big match experience. Who would know?
We've said that how many times over about the last 4 years in regards to the women's game.
Yeah. Barty had to pull out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Serena's old.
Yeah.
It's open.
It's a strange one. I can't get into the women's tennis at the moment, and it's just my enjoyment.
It's the opposite of the men's.
It's the opposite, I think.
Like with the big four or the big three.
All these young ladies who are making Grand Slam finals and causing upsets and winning, 100% congratulations. They've worked their whole life. It's a massive achievement for them and their families. But when you're not getting that quality, the best players creating rivalries and great matches, it's very hard to get into.
I agree.
It's very hard to sort of sit down and know that you're seeing
Follow a
two
player.
players. It's very rare now that 2 top 5 players are playing in the.
It's like Game of
last
Thrones, mate. You latch onto someone and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
But good luck to them. Congratulations. It's absolutely fantastic. They've worked all their lives to get to this stage, and good luck to them.
That final will be tonight, guys. Now, just going to quickly touch on some playoffs, just really quickly. We've got the NBA Finals. We're getting down to, there's 8 teams left. Utah are currently leading the Clippers 2-0 in their match, and Phoenix are currently beating Denver 2-0. And on the other side, on the East, we've got 1-1 series between Philly and Atlanta, and we've got Brooklyn beating Milwaukee 2-1. We'll touch on that. Those finals go for weeks, so we'll probably in a bit more detail have a look at that down the line. And just quickly, our Stanley Cup update. My bloody Leafs got beat, as I mentioned last week, and then Montreal, who beat the Leafs, have gone on and won again 4-0 in their series. Buoyed by the fact that they beat us, no doubt. They are now playing in the semis against Vegas, and the Islanders are playing Tampa. Tampa being the defending champions. So once again, we'll touch base with those playoffs as they're developing next week. All right, now just quickly football, mate. Euro 2020.
It's on.
It's happened. New 2021.
You know we're in a pandemic when England are the favourites for a soccer match, a football match.
So you got...
It's coming home, baby.
FIFA's coming home. I've heard that before. The only thing that'd be coming home would be COVID, I reckon. Yeah. So FIFA, in a greedy money grab, have expanded the comp to 24 teams. It's the first time it's ever happened. It's pretty much like teams like North Macedonia and Scotland are getting a gig. I will say though, there is one group of death.
There is.
Group F. Hungary, they're not, you know, but you've got Portugal, France, and Germany.
Very strong group.
Oh, so that is the one group of death.
Two dead set powerhouses with the defending champs and probably the best player in the tournament.
Yeah, so there is interest there. You know, Turkey and Italy have played this morning in the opening match. It was 3-0 win to Italy, 0 at half time, and then a Turk got an own goal, and then Italy just punished them. Once Italy get a lead, they can stop that wall of defence, and then they go for it.
I was
3-0, and it was in Rome, so they were the home team, even though the tournament's being played all over the place.
Interesting. That was the Italians' biggest ever win in a Euro comp.
Wow.
And when I read that too, and I also read, I think the last 9 internationals that Italy have played there, for and against is 28-0.
Holy dude.
So
they don't concede.
I think I read that right. Okay. So I don't know the quality of opposition that they've played against, but typically probably European teams, and they are European. Generally, is the stronger sort of continent across the board. So
amazing defence.
Yeah.
And the A-League finals start this weekend. Central Coast are going to play Macarthur tonight, and the Brisbane Roar are at home to Adelaide tomorrow. Those are both elimination games.
Okay.
And Melbourne City and Sydney FC await the winners. So we're going to talk about that a bit more next week. Okay. And the A-League have signed a TV deal. Another streaming service for you, mate.
Oh,
fantastic.
I know. I thought that too. Did you know? Just quickly, the Australian Swimming Titles Olympic trials start today.
Really?
It's on some streaming service that you...
Really?
Amazon or someone.
Oh,
so
right.
in the past,
everyone
knew every Olympic, you knew the Thorpes, the Hacketts, the Perkins, the Rice, Lentons. They were all there. Wouldn't know anything now.
Is that Richard's rant?
No, that's not my rant.
You've got that long.
I've got 30 seconds. My rant this week is favouritism in the NRL.
Yep.
Now, Josh Papali'i, best player arguably best prop in the game, gets suspended. 99% of society knows that he was going to get picked for State of Origin, so rightfully one of the Origin matches count towards his suspension. Victor Radley, Sydney Roosters, gets a 5-game suspension. Victor Radley has never played State of Origin, never been chosen in any squads or anything, gets 2 of his matches counted from his suspension as State of Origin matches.
Interesting.
That's my rant.
1 hot minute.
Yep.
Will Nathan Buckley ever be a head coach again?
No.
Has the Buddy Franklin 9-year, $10 million contract paid off?
Made 2 grand finals, I'd say no, but he's going back to the Hawks, Stewie.
Are Carlton entering yet another rebuild?
I don't think they got out of their one from 15 years ago.
It's going to be a good build, that one. Yeah, the Pyramids didn't take that long to build.
Yeah, Cripps has fallen off the radar. That's the problem.
Who will be taking more steroids out of Russia and China at the Olympics?
Are Russia there?
Okay. Will Serena Williams ever win another Grand Slam?
Doubles, maybe.
And will Ash Barty finish the year as world number 1?
Yes, because no one else is consistent.
All right,
unless Osako plays the US Open. Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
No worries.
That was a good show.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you on.
Cheers.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Please like the video if you do like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. And I hope to see you all next week. Catch you later.
Thank you. Bye.